Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Robert Quinn, and I'm the Commissioner of the Department of Safety. I want to thank everyone for being here. Behind me, I'm joined by Commissioner Sarah Stewart, Colonel Nathan Noyes, Colonel Kevin Jordan, and a variety of other state and local officers from police, fire, and EMS who have joined us here today for a very, very, very special topic. Drownings are preventable tragedies. Know the risk and take appropriate safety measures when enjoying New Hampshire waterways. No family deserves to go through the sorrow of losing a loved one, especially when it could have been prevented by taking standard water safety precautions. These precautions are going to be discussed in further detail, but I cannot express how thankful I am for the team that's joined behind me today, and they are going to work very hard for the rest of the summer. We've had a very hot summer, and the public is seeking relief. They're going into our oceans and into our rivers and other waterways to have fun. We want to ensure that they do have a day that is fun and isn't tragic. With that, I would like to introduce Colonel Kevin Jordan from the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department. Thank you, Kevin.
Good morning, and I want to thank the Commissioner for inviting us all down here, and he stated it very well. I think we're all here sharing the same concerns. Due to the current health pandemic that we have, we've seen a great increase in people going outside to recreate, and that's great. That's wonderful. Our concern is that they go home Sunday night safely to their families, and there are a lot of things that are occurring along our rivers and waterways, I think, that people aren't thinking about. One is where the pools are shut down, we're thinking that people are going out to the local rivers to swim. At least my officers have seen more activity there. We're concerned about undertows and unknown current and drop-off areas that people are not familiar with, so we urge people to become familiar with that before they just jump into the water. We also would encourage or discourage the use of any alcohol while you're swimming. Those are things that get people in trouble. The Commissioner stated it very well when he said our big concern is that we don't want families to suffer this absolutely preventable tragedy. If you're going out in a boat, please wear flotation devices. These are all things, all steps that people can take and enjoy our waterways and come home safely. So now I'd like to introduce Colonel Nathan Noyes from New Hampshire State Police to remark on this as well. Colonel?
Thank you, Colonel, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. This is a very important message we'd like to get out. With me here today is Lieutenant Crystal McLean and Sergeant Josh Dirth from the State Police Marine Patrol Unit. Summer weather draws people to New Hampshire, to our beautiful lakes, and to the ocean. We would just like to reinforce a few safety protocols that we'd ask everyone to put in place. Swim in tandem, swim in teams, let people know where you're going, be aware of your surroundings at all time. Being aware of your surroundings is going to, in the case of an emergency, allow someone to call 911 and be able to report to our first responders right away where exactly you're located so we can get help to you as soon as possible. We all have a part to play in water safety. Wear life jackets, know your own swimming ability, and know your surroundings. Also, we should all know that there are various portions of our rivers where the temperature is a lot colder than you may think it is. So there's a little bit of a shock factor anytime we enter those types of waters. We need to be prepared. Swim in areas with lifeguards whenever possible. Be aware of underwater obstructions. You may not see it from the surface, but it could be hidden there below. And again, never mix alcohol and drugs with water and boating activities. This has been a great collaborative effort between all the departments you see here today, and we're certainly appreciative to be a part of it at the Division of State Police. I'd like to turn it now over to Commissioner Stewart from the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. Commissioner.
Good morning. New Hampshire State Parks has a highly trained crew of lifeguards dedicated to ensuring visitors at our ocean and inland beaches are safe. With me today is Patrick Murphy, Chief of New Hampshire State Beach Patrol, overseeing 50 to 60 ocean lifeguards. All ocean lifeguards are certified under the United States Lifeguard Association. These lifeguards compete in the New England Life-Saving Competition, and we're very proud of our winning record. Last year, Pat Murphy and others in his crew were awarded the New Hampshire Congressional Law Enforcement Award, Associate Service category, for their response to an unfortunate incident in Seabrook to assist the Hampton and Seabrook Police and Fire Rescue, where multiple swimmers were victim to a rip current and there was one fatality. This season, with more intense rip currents, Pat and his crew have had some very busy days. One day where they had 84 rescues off the main beach. New Hampshire State Parks lifeguards' primary duties are to keep visitors safe on the beach and in the water. They also play an important role in water safety education and can help swimmers better understand potential dangers like rip currents. As vital a role our lifeguards play, it's important to understand that parents are the first line of defense for children. Never leave children unattended in the water, not even for a minute. If your child is in the water, you should be too, as accidents can happen very quickly. And while our lifeguards are at the beach to act quickly, we need visitors to ensure that they understand their own swimming abilities, are wearing proper flotation devices, refrain from alcohol use if planning to swim, and follow the first rule of water safety: never swim alone. The Department of Natural and Cultural Resources is charged with the stewardship of hundreds of thousands of acres throughout the state. And as you can imagine, these acres contain many bodies of water, rivers, and streams. And most of those do not come with a lifeguard. So I will reiterate, wherever you venture, do not swim alone. I'm very proud of the close working relationship between park staff, forest and land staff, and state and local rescue and law enforcement. We appreciate being part of today's conversation. Thank you.
Chief Kelleher.
Good morning, Derek Kelleher, Battalion Chief with Concord Fire Department. Water safety is a consideration for everybody. Your life depends on it. We are fortunate here in New Hampshire to have a lot of beautiful rivers where we can enjoy recreationally. With that, I would like to share a couple specific hazards of the rivers. One, they're unpredictable to most of us. Very unpredictable. The flow, the speed, it's faster than you think, it's stronger than you think. Number two, changing conditions. The conditions of a river spot in July is very different than early June and May. We have different levels and current step by step. So one moment you can be in the river, it's shallow, it's not moving fast. The very next step you take, it can be over your head and a strong current. We have changing conditions because of just seasonal conditions, the water temperatures, the water levels in early May, June. We have different levels, conditions. Overnight heavy rainfall will change the conditions of the river. There's obstacles in the river. When you look at a shallow river, you see trees, you see rocks. All of those obstacles and entrapments are in the river when the water level is high. And finally, we mentioned water temperature. The majority of the water temperature in New Hampshire year-round is considered cold, anything 70 degrees or less. In closing, I want to share with you from the rescue side of things that it takes time for rescue personnel. From local to state agencies, it takes time. It takes time for notification that there's an issue, potential rescue in your community. It takes time to respond. It takes time to locate. Are we using GPS coordinates from 911 to try and track where somebody is? Are we going by clues because people do not know where they are? They can see a bridge. They think they're in Concord. They're in a different community. So it takes time to locate. It takes time to access. Are we gaining access by boat? Are we gaining access with an off-road vehicle? Are we gaining access by building a rope system and lowering somebody down? It's also going to take time to stabilize and then extricate and transport any victims. So with that said, I ask everybody out there to consider water safety in and around the water, and in addition to learning life-saving skills that may make a difference. including learning how to swim, various swim techniques, in still water, in river water, and also CPR. Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you very much. If you have any specific questions, we can ask a couple questions, or we can do one-on-one interviews if you want to do that also.
I don't know who might be best to answer this, whether it's the commissioner or Colonel, but do you have a number of, not specifically Hampton Beach rescues, but lake and river rescues or fatalities that you've had to deal with so far this summer?
We have had 6. That's a good question. We've had.
Coming up to the microphone. Thanks.
So the question is how many fatalities we have investigated?
Yeah, fatalities and how many times have you had to go out on rescue?
New Hampshire Fish and Game has gone out on 5 separate recoveries. I know Marine Patrol, is my understanding, has done 6 total. So there are 6 in the state currently. We average each year, I looked this morning, we average between 13 to 15 every year, but we're only in the first week of August, so I'm concerned. August is a hot month. It's a popular month for people to go out, so I'm worried that we're up higher than we should be at this time. However, we are below what we've been in the past. Number of rescues, I think the Concord Fire Chief stated it very well in saying that we make few rescues, unfortunately, because of simply the logistics of getting the report in, finding a good location, and deploying these resources that you see standing behind me. It takes time to do that. So there aren't, unfortunately, a lot of these turn into recoveries. That's why we're here today, because the governor and all of us are concerned about this spinning out of control. So we're trying to get people to think about it a little bit before you go into the river, because when you make that call and someone's in trouble, a lot of times we can't get there soon enough.
Just so I'm clear, so it's 6 fatalities?
Correct, that's correct.
In 2020?
That's correct.
And have there been any fatalities out at Hampton Beach, or no? Okay. All right. And then you said that you average around 13?
We average between 13 to 15 the last 5 years is where our numbers have been.
Fatalities.
That's correct. We're a little higher right now than we normally would be. We still have a lot of summer left.
Well, if you had, I'm sorry to interrupt, if you had if there was no coronavirus, people would have been at the beaches, I don't know, May and June, wouldn't it be?
I don't know that that's we're not sure that's the cause. The only thing I can tell you from experience of going to the rivers and checking fishermen, that we're seeing a lot more people out, which is great.
Right.
But I'm seeing a lot more swimming at some of our boat launches than I've ever seen. Reminds me of the days when we were kids, back in the 70s. So I think that's part of the reason is a lot of the pools are closed, and what people got to remember is there are no lifeguards at the rivers. So it falls upon them to be responsible to check currents, be aware of these underwater conditions that we discussed this morning, and to prepare for those kinds of things, and to refrain from any alcohol and drug use. Hot weather brings them to the water, and that's great. We want them to go home at the end of the evening safe.
I have one more follow-up question.
Yes.
I think I heard a couple of you talking about kind of knowing where you are.
Right.
And by that, do you mean like, say, okay, where am I? I'm right behind Everett Ice Arena in Concord, right off of exit 14. So is that the kind of information? So you can relay that to the rescue?
That's exactly a challenge on every one of these situations. It's a great question, is getting your location pinpointed as quickly and accurately as you can. So if you could just imagine for a moment, you have a loved one that has gone out of sight in the water, you're in an absolute panic situation, and it falls upon you when you make that call for help to give us an accurate location so that we can speed up that response time. A lot of times these incidents, we've got people running up and down the river trying to locate where folks are. So very important to take a few minutes when you decide that you're going to go swimming, and you pick a boat launch that you're going to start from, or a beach along the Merrimack, and determine where that is. And you can also witness another event, and you can be helpful in that case. So getting us there, these resources behind me there, quickly is paramount.
Recognizing a landmark.
Right, exactly. Some sort of good landmark is very important, and access.
Colonel, there's certain hot spots or certain areas that are dangerous. Is there any kind of list? Watch it here, watch over there, watch it over here.
The rivers, I think, the rivers this year are where we've been having the most trouble. And I think the rivers, we've got some beautiful spots, especially we keep using the Merrimack, but especially along the Merrimack, that allow for swimming, that traditionally have allowed swimming, that have seen an increase in popularity. So The rivers are the unpredictable part. Ocean, the same. I mean, all waters are unpredictable.
Can you narrow down like a certain, is that ridiculous to think you could narrow down a certain area where someone's like, that's the spot Colonel Jordan said, you know, watch your butt, and all right.
Well, I don't know that I'm comfortable doing that, because I think there are places all along the river that and it varies depending on rain amounts. We had some rain here recently, so some of this water has now changed. Where it was lower last week, it might be a little higher today. Dams going up and down can change that. So it's just being careful and taking a few moments to look at where you're swimming and to make sure that the undertow and the current is safe, and to do this slowly and carefully.
Would a law help?
No, I think public awareness is our.
Life jacket.
Well, we have good laws on that as far as being out on boats, and Marine Patrol is very strict about enforcing that. They do a great job enforcing
you have
that.
to have a life jacket if you're on a.
Yes, and I think just people being aware and thinking about that is going to be that's why we're doing this. That's the best solution in any of these scenarios.
Great. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.